Good afternoon, people, and welcome to my listeners. Today, I have a wonderful guest of Luciano. I have got my cuppa here, as always, because it's the Warrior Cafe and we are going to have a very relaxed conversation today. Lisa and I met on a network over a year ago, and I've watched her grow. She's a great expert on cybersecurity, and we are in holiday time. People take their eye off the ball. So, welcome, Lisa Croisio, to my podcast. I'm super excited to talk to you today and tell my listeners a little bit about what you do, because I know you have a wealth of experience. We're not going to do a long one today, people. We're just going to give you a few golden nuggets or tips that you can start thinking about cybersecurity. And then if you'd like to go in deeper, you can contact Lisa direct and we'll tell you a little bit about that later on. And you can have that deeper conversation and find out how she can help you. So over to you, Lisa.
Thank you, Beth Ann. It's a pleasure to be with you. Well, I can't say these things enough, and I've been banging the drum for a long time because I taught online safety in a program that I created when my middle school principal, I was a teacher for 40 years, taught technology. And he came to me one day and he said, our kids are online. They don't know what they're doing to keep themselves safe. And that's when I realized there were no programs that I could find out there. So I created one for middle schoolers, so sixth, seventh, and eighth graders. And I taught it for 10 years. And it literally saved lives. And I'm not taking credit for that because it was just about doing the right thing. But how can you do it if you don't know? And that has been the downfall of all of our situations online and the best weapon the bad guys have, which is we don't know what we don't know. So we don't know how to see this trouble that's coming, how to avoid it. What do you do if it happens? That's one thing that nobody ever tells you. Who do I go to if I've been scammed or something else is going on online? And so I taught the program, and it was 40 years in terms of me doing technology and teaching. And I said, okay, I'm done. I'd like to move
I
on.
get that. And also, I'm just very aware at the moment, and that because I'm obviously here in UK, you're there in America, but I think that, it doesn't matter because holiday times, people are not there with their children of all ages because of like phones and people using phones and smartphones so much that I'm just conscious of anyone now not putting things in place because grandparents as well are not looking, are not that savvy at the things. So just wanted to bring that up for people because there's lots of grandparents I know that are going to be looking after children in the holiday period.
Well, that is the problem that I discovered when I retired. It was right in the middle of COVID. It was the summer of 2020. And what I saw was kids online because they were stuck at home with nothing better to do than go online. No teachers supervising anymore in classrooms if they're on a computer. No parents knowing to supervise. Maybe they didn't even have the time. I mean, we were all struggling to try to figure out what do we do. Our kids are home and they have to learn and all of that. And that's when I said, you know what? I have to get back in the game. So that's when I decided to create an online program because I didn't want it to be just for children. Actually, sometimes that's my worst audience simply because they yes you to death and then they do what they want anyway. So now I want to work with parents, grandparents, and teachers because they do have some control of the situation, but not in the sense of locking the kids down. That never works. They just find a way around it. And now they're not going to tell you anything if they think you're doing that. But if we can even the playing field for adults, because they have to protect themselves as well. I've seen seniors get scammed, and it breaks my heart because they can't bounce back from this. They lost their whole life savings in a heartbeat, and they don't know what to do. With the children, it's about their future. They don't know that what they do now is going to follow them for the rest of their lives. So I'm hoping to talk to parents, grandparents, and teachers, teach them how to understand how to look in the devices. I know that sounds sneaky, but you have no choice. To see where they're going, watch their behavior because it indicates if something's going on online that shouldn't be. All these things that if the adults knew, they could rally around the kids. I think we have to form almost like a cyber army to try to protect our children because The schools won't do it. I've approached schools with my program, and they're like, "We don't have the time for it. You don't have the time to save children because we're talking in some cases life or death." I'd love to share a story with you. This is the thing that literally moved me back into the game. I had a student, she was 13 years old. She had taken my program. She knew better. And one of the things I told her or the class, don't ever create a fake profile online because now you're attracting a different kind of person. Well, she did it, of course, on social media, attracted a man, and she pretended to be 23 instead of 13. So she attracted someone who was a little bit older. Well, one thing led to another, and all of a sudden, one day, nobody knew this was going on until her friend came to me who had also taken my course. And she said, Miss L, the kids called me Miss L. They found my name a little too hard to say. She said, you told us that if somebody's in trouble online and they won't go to anybody, we have to help them. I said, you're right. You have a responsibility, if you care about that person, to help them help themselves. So she told me the story of what was going on with this girl, that she got so scared because the young man was talking about running away because these guys are so smart. She said she wasn't getting along with the mother and she was unhappy. And he's like, let's run away. You know, it was kind of like Romeo and Juliet, except I guess they didn't read the end of the play.
Yeah, and it's happening more and more, I think. And I think that because of the way the world is now, like people are having to go to work in the summer, they're not able to, one's parents stay at home, and yeah, they're like it used to be back in the day. So I think that, wherever we are in the world, and that people need to think, how are we going to protect and look after them, because they can't be there 24/7, and the world is different to where when we grow up, and that because we didn't have that, we didn't have all this as much technology and that. So now there's so much on their own, and that is so much, as you say, out there. It really is important for people to actually get in touch with Lisa. So I hope you're getting some really good thoughts, people, and thinking how they can start structuring some action into them, because I encourage people to contact Lisa. So could you please tell them now early, because people will be listening, and I always like doing it at this time so that people can get in touch with you and have that deeper conversation. So how can people get in touch with you, Lisa?
Well, they can email me at lisa@onlinesafetysuccess.org. They can go to my website, onlinesafetysuccess.org. Those are two ways to reach me. I'm on Facebook, same thing, onlinesafetysuccess.org. But I just want to finish that story. So the girl came to me. I said, okay, I'm going to take you out of this, because she was afraid her friend would be scared or upset that she told me. I went to the principal. The principal went to the police. They did a manhunt, and they caught the guy. He was in the community. He went to jail. We don't know what he did or what he was planning to do, but that's a big deal to go to jail for whatever was going to happen. We think he was going to kidnap her. And the thing that still haunts me to this day is that we found out he was a teacher aide in our building. He was actually stalking the girl. And we all knew him and had no idea he was the one doing this. So
Wow.
that's my message to people is, don't assume your kids know what they're doing or know how to deal with it. And just the people they meet online is dangerous enough. We have to stop oversharing. We have to stop putting our entire lives online. If you post a picture online, it's geotagged unless you turn that feature off. So let's say you're in the Bahamas having a wonderful vacation. You send pictures from there. Guess what? Somebody just grabbed that picture, found out you're in the Bahamas, you're not home. They look you up online and they go rob your house. I mean, it's that bad.
Yeah, exactly. I just don't understand people doing that. Wait until you come back home and then say, this is the great thing. And like, I know friends of mine have done it, and they
Everybody does
like
it.
sent them on my phone, and there's trackers on our phone and everything, and that locations and that. I just don't understand. I am not techo savvy, and I'm not, things, but I know enough that I don't put out where I'm going and that, or been to an event. I
Right.
say
Don't do it
after
while the
I've
event's
been
in
to an
place.
event.
You can always do it later. Don't telegraph that you're going to be out of your house. And we all do it. And this is becoming a huge thing. A new thing that's coming out now is revenge porn because of AI. If somebody gets upset with somebody that they've been in a relationship with, they can take their picture, run it through AI, put that face on a body doing something totally inappropriate, and spread it all over the internet. High school kids are doing this now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Incredible.
And there are no consequences. I've seen a number of cases in the United States. They were not, I mean, if you want to call discipline saying you were temporarily suspended from school, it doesn't go on their permanent record. And now they're back in school with the child they victimized. And the parents in this one case I heard about tried for 8 months to get the pictures taken down by social media. They refused to take down what they knew to be fake porn. So the parents went to the local senator in that state, and he made one call and those pictures came down. But can you imagine what they went through for 8 months? And then that girl has to be in school with the boy who did this to her.
Yeah.
So the laws are not keeping up with anything, and we're not keeping up with our kids. We have to know what they're doing. It doesn't mean you control or shut them down. That is never going to work. But you have to be more aware. And there are signs. And then also you have to talk to them. When we were kids, the talk was the birds and the bees. The talk of the 21st century is, what are you doing online? Are you being careful online?
Yeah.
And we're not really digging into that because you know why? Because the adults don't have enough information. So the kids blow us off and say, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know the technology. I'm okay. I have this figured out.
Yeah.
That's why I want to empower adults to understand for themselves and for their children so that you can have these conversations and keep the lines of communication open. Had that girl, because she wouldn't tell her mother, had she not told a friend who then told me, and then the police believed us, if any of those things had broken down, that girl would be gone now. We would never have seen her again.
No,
And
no.
it
And it
shouldn't
does
come to that.
happen, people. It is. I was actually on a phone to somebody that was abroad, and I was talking to them and then messages came through, and we had to actually, like we did through a process and that, but we actually found where they were, who it was and that. And I was on the phone saying, "Why are you sending me messages and that?" And they were going, "I'm not." And I dropped the call and then went to a safe with a different phone and phoned from my house phone and that, so that we had more secure thing and that. And this person continued sending messages to me. Then they phoned my mobile and that, and we ignored it. And then we actually got in touch with them, and they were warned and that. But I was literally on the phone going, "Why are you sending me messages when I'm on the phone? This is crazy." And it's like, really? And we had to go into my, change all my passwords and everything. And
Mm-hmm.
I actually got them to pretend they were me in the end, and actually send a message from elsewhere at a secure site to say, "Leave me alone." And they never came back. But it is very daunting when that happens. And even last week I had a password recovery, and like, from Apple, and like, what's this about? And I thought, hang on.
They're using Facebook, Apple, every real company is getting scammed in the sense of they're taking what they put online, which is totally illegal. They replicate it, and then they pretend they're tech support, this, that, and the other, phone calls, emails, everything you can imagine, pop-ups, and it looks so real. You can't blame people for falling for it. I mean, the one tip I can give you right now, you ever get contacted, it's like, I think it's called a cold call. You didn't ask for this. Suddenly there they are saying there's some kind of an issue. Hang up the phone, call the real company. Not something they send you in the email to click on, nothing like that. Call the real company or email them and say, was that you?
Yeah.
99% of the time it's going to be, no, we don't do it that way. But how do you know what they do? I mean, in the age of technology, An email wouldn't seem ridiculous.
No, exactly. And I know I also saw 2 weeks ago on Facebook, you mentioned Facebook people, and that is obviously a great golden nugget for people to go and look on Facebook, because I had a woman contact me and saying she was going to use one of my pictures for some art program.
Oh, no, no, no.
And I went,
Mm-mm.
oh, I don't think so. And then another one is obviously, like, because I'm in UK, so people like be aware of, like, if you're, across the pond or here, is like, oh, we can send you some money. And they'd send this cardboard box picture. And I was like, no, I don't want no money from people. It's not coming from a bank or anything. But they kept sending messages and I just kept blocking them. But this woman did only 2 weeks ago sent me a message saying she was going to use my pictures. No. And I was like, whoa, this is what? You're going to use my pictures? And I don't have that many on there. And for some art program, and I sent a message back and said, no, you're not. And I'll report you, which I did. So many golden nuggets today, Lisa, and that's such a wealth of expertise, people. And this is just a tiny little fraction of what Lisa does and that. So we've mentioned Facebook, we've mentioned a great story and that. And it is such a pleasure to talk to you, Lisa. I know that you were nervous today, but I hope that you've enjoyed speaking to me today, giving your wealth of experience. Please, people, reach out to her, because she is an awesome lady. And I guarantee you that after your consultation call or in depth, you will feel a lot safer. So remember, people, the 3 things that look what your children are doing. Grandparents, please get some support and that. So while you're looking after the youngsters, and most of all, make sure that parents, you put in some sort of action. Thank you for speaking to me today. I really appreciate you. And look out for Lisa, because there'll be plenty more to come in further episodes or lives shortly, where she'll be giving some really good quick tips, 5 minutes at our live slots, which are coming. So I'm Bethan Mary Thompson, the warrior. You can catch me at BethanThompson55 at Gmail, and I'm on LinkedIn and Facebook. And if you'd like to know more about what I do on mental health and wellness, because that is also important when we're going through these stressful times, please DM me and let's have a cuppa. So thanks, Lisa, for today. And it's been an absolute pleasure. And we will see you again soon on the Warrior Podcast.